Hi, it's me, Jazzy. I'm back with another tech related video, and today I'm taking a look at an LCR bridge. This is a new product from Zoyi. This is the ZT-DQ02 handheld LCR bridge. It can measure inductance, resistance, capacitance and impedance with a 4-wire Kelvin measurement. You've got adjustable frequency, adjustable voltage and a 2.8-inch TFT display. So big thanks to Zoyi for sending this unit over for me to test. Now what makes the ZT-DQ02 stand out is the fact that it's got a built-in battery internal resistance measurement function, which allows precise measurement of both battery voltage and internal resistance via an aviation plug on top of the unit, which makes it really useful for battery health diagnostics on top of your normal LCR measurements. It's got a 5-digit display, auto recognition and auto range, and a battery that lasts up to 12 hours continuous use. So let's get this over on the bench and see what we get. Right, I've been really looking forward to testing this, which is a handheld LCR meter. You can see it's kind of in the style of the old dairy meters that were often used but are getting really long in the tooth. So it's nice to see something modern equivalent, and coming from Zoyi I'm expecting big things because we saw how good the LCR tweezers were recently. So what do we get in here? Well, we get a pouch, which is always nice to see. Right, what do we get in the pouch? Well, let's have a look. Here's our meter and loads of probes. So 4-wire Kelvin clips, nice to see, similar to what I would use with my old M162, and these I believe are for the battery testing because we've got the aviation style plug on there that goes into the unit. So this has got a built-in battery internal resistance measurement function, which I'm looking forward to testing out. And we've got our standard multimeter probes here as well. So we've certainly got loads of stuff with this. And here's our meter. It feels nice and solid, as you would expect from Zoyi. Fits nicely in the hand. Feels nice and solid, not creaky or anything. And nice rubber bumper around the edge, rubber baby bumper. And you've got a stand on the back there, so you can stand your meter up. Nice. Straight away you can see you've got your aviation plug on the top there. This is for doing your resistance measurement for your batteries, so you can determine the condition of the battery. Now we're going to be trying this on some batteries we've got here that came out of a UPS recently. We've got UPS backup. We've got a lot of IT equipment, especially next door. So we often run UPSs here to back up servers and stuff. So there's often a lot of batteries around that we can test. So we can use this for testing those. So we've got our connections here. We've also got a place here for testing components. So also in the case we've got our charge cable, which is USB A to C. Brilliant. And we've got, I believe this is a shield for putting in here when you're connected to these. Check that out in a moment. We've got our user manual here, which is going to be very handy. Okay, so first thing to do then is obviously remove the peel. Always satisfying. And let's power on, see what we've got. Oh, straight away, nice display, nice and big, and you've got a 5-digit display as well. This has got an inductance range of 0 to 100 henries, capacitance range of 0 to 100,000 microfarads, that's more than enough for anyone, a resistance range of 0 to 20 meg ohms, and you've also got adjustable test frequency of 100 Hz, 120, 1 kilohertz, 10 kilohertz and 100 kilohertz, and adjustable test voltage levels, which is nice to see, a 0.1 volt level, also 0.3 and 0.6 as per standard. So all looks very promising. Right, so let's have a look at some of the functions on here then. So you can see at the moment the display is in red. That means it's in battery mode. So when you use this button here, this will change its function. This will change what it's doing. So it's in battery slow at the moment, so if we press that again, it goes into auto mode, and it will auto detect what it is you're trying to do, whether it's resistance, capacitance, etc. Press again, we go into resistance mode, capacitance mode, inductance, impedance, and you've got ECAP, which is great for electrolytics when you're testing those, and back to battery. So you can see it's got battery slow, so you can see you've got a speed change button there. You can change that from slow to mid to fast, depending on what it is you're doing with your battery. We'll get into that in a minute. We've got some batteries to test. So when you're in LCR mode, you've got a frequency button here. Now you can see we're in 1 kilohertz at the moment, so you can change that to 10 kilohertz, 100 kilohertz, 100 hertz, 120 hertz, or back to 1 kilohertz. You can also change the level, which at the moment is at 0.6 volts, but you can go down as low as 0.1 volts. Now that's going to be very handy when you're testing his circuit. You don't want to be turning on any semiconductor junctions or anything like that. So that's quite handy. You've also got 0.3 and 0.6 volts. Now you can also change the speed of your LCR measurements on here. We're on mid at the moment. You can change that to fast, or you can change it to slow. So if you've got something like a capacitor and the reading is slightly fluctuating, you might want to either speed it up or slow it down depending on what you're aiming to get from that measurement. This is where you change the display parameter. We're on reactive at the moment, which is X. You've got theta, which is your phase angle. R is your equivalent resistance, we know about that. D and Q is your quality factor. Press again to go back to X. Obviously this is on and off, so here is where you can change between serial and parallel. We're in resistance parallel at the moment. You can see it says parallel down here, so if you press that again, that'll change it to auto. So it's resistance parallel but auto ranging. Press again, go to resistance serial, it's in serial mode. So you've got a hold function here, which comes on up there if you want to hold the data that's on the screen. You've got your rel button here, so you can rel out your cables. You've got your arrow button there to move around, so you can see you're moving the cursor there, so you can change all these things. You can change your frequency, voltage level, your bias, and you can just move around and then just use the up and down button to change that parameter. That's just an alternative to going through the other buttons that we did earlier. Now the other place that the cursor keys are going to be useful is in the settings menu. So long press on the setup button there. This will take you into the system settings. You can see the version there. You can update the firmware on this. Language is in English, brightness is at 100%, but you can turn that down, which will increase your battery life. You've got an off timer there that you can set from 0 to 60 minutes. You can turn your beep on and off. You've got a calibration mode, and you can restore to factory settings. Long press on setup to go back out to your measurement mode. So let's do some measuring, shall we? So we've got some rather lovely Kelvin probes. I'm looking forward to testing this out. I love a good LCR meter. Get these in. So they do give you a little guard with this to slot into the clips. So if you're testing components using the clips, you just slot them in there. If you're using the probes, which we're going to do first, you just pop the guard in. That'll stop any stray parameters from the clips. Now it says using the insulation spacer will improve accuracy. But obviously if you want to check components directly in there, we can do that in a sec, then you take that out and remove your probes. Right, so we've got it in auto mode. So let's try a couple of resistors. Straight away, that's a 1K resistor. We got 0.9912K ohms. Really quick. It's quick, considering it's on auto mode as well. It's got to work out what it is I'm measuring. Okay, it's a 470 ohm resistor, this one. Yeah, 468 straight away. No problems. A nice big display. Yeah, 5.67K ohms. So if your reading's fluctuating like that, you can change the speed. We're on slow at the moment. You could go mid, or you could go fast. You can see it's refreshing it a lot quicker. So if that's too quick for you, I like it on slow. Slow is good, gives me a chance to read what's on the screen there. Okay, let's check some capacitors. We've got a few here. So this one here is a 10 microfarad. It's an old electrolytic that I took out of something, games console I think, a while back. See what we get. Oh, it's straight away, it's instant, look, straight in. 8.49 microfarads. So if we change this, we can get our ESR here. Let's have a look. There you go, 3.31 ohms. That's not a great cap, is it? Probably why I took it out of whatever it was. All right, we've got a 2200 microfarad here. This is a new one, so it should be okay. It's a low ESR as well. All right, let's see what we got. Now you can see we're in auto at the moment, and it's in capacitance series. Now there is a specific electrolytic capacitor mode on here. If we were to change this mode here from auto, let's put it in ECAP, which is there. So let's see if there's any difference actually putting it in ECAP mode, is there? It's about the same really. Again, 27.7 microfarads, equivalent resistance of 0.04 ohms. The ECAP mode is going to be good when we're looking at big old electrolytics like this one. So we'll do that in a sec. Let's try the good old 1 nanofarad. See what we get with this one. Yeah, straight away. It's so quick, isn't it? Look, 0.97 nanofarads, ESR 1.2k ohms. This is an old one that I took out of the Fluke scope, I think. Right, let's try the 10,000 microfarad test. Something this size, we definitely want to be in ECAP mode. So let's change that, ECAP. Okay, 10,000 microfarads. Is it going to do it? Oh yeah, that wasn't too bad at all, was it? 10.5 millifarads, I will take that. And let's get our ESR. There we go. 0.0174. Thereabouts. So of interest, if we'd have gone to capacitance mode. Yeah, so you can see there, that's why you need to be in ECAP mode for something that big in an electrolytic. You can see that's totally not on the right mode at all for that sort of cap. Going to ECAP, we got no problems. It'll work it out. There you go. Takes a minute to realise what you're doing, and then it's there. Fantastic. You do have to change, though, when you change modes at the top, you do also have to change your parameter if you want to go back to ESR there. But, yeah, really good. Really quick, actually, because that's a big old cap. It takes a while to charge up. All right, let's have a go with the component slots on the front. Let's take the probes out, and then let's try the component tester slots on the front here. Let's take the guard out. So let's try that same 10 microfarad. Yeah, straight away, 8.3. Okay, 1k resistor. Yeah, straight away, it's instant. No messing. I love that. Right, we've seen it's great with the Kelvin probes. It's great using the component tester slots. So we're going to do a comparison now. We've got the M162 here we're going to compare it against. We're also bringing in our special guest, the East Tester, as well for a good old comparison. So let's get some standards out and get testing. Okay, so we're all set for the comparison test. We've got our Zoyi ZT-DQ02. We've got our special guest, the East Tester, is back for this episode, and we've got good old M162. This is the rig that I made up with the Kelvin probes, the 4-wire connection, a while back. This is using an old Deary adapter. It's not the best, but it does the job. Right, okay, let's hook up the Zoyi. We've got a sea of Kelvin probes now. Fantastic. Never before have we done so much LCR testing in such a short space of time. Okay, let's start with resistance then. It's the decade box. We never did figure out where department 23322 was, did we? Okay, let's try the Zoyi first then, shall we? Okay, so I'm not going to do all the ranges today because we've got a lot of testing to get through, but we are going to do some resistance, capacitance and inductance standards. Okay, so we're in auto mode. We're going to rel out the cables and then we're going to go 10 ohms. Right, so 10.005. Okay, if you're playing along, Mark that down on your card. Okay, so let's go 100 ohms. Very good, 100.11. Nice. And 1K. Yeah, this is spot on, isn't it? And it's fast as well. 1.0089. Nice. Okay. Okay, M162, 10 ohms. Pretty slow, and we got 10.28, 100 ohms. It's got to think about it. And we got 100.6 and 1K, 1.011. Right, so no, we've got all the LCR testers on 1 kilohertz frequency range. So let's go 10 ohms, 10.008, 100 ohms, 100.09, and 1K. We've got 1008.3. There we go. Right, that concludes the resistance portion of the testing. Okay, without further ado, let's bring back stable mica for some capacitance testing. What a lovely thing. So let's get the Zoyi hooked up first. So rel out the cables again. Right, okay, so 10 nanofarads. 9.853. Okay, 100 nanofarads. We've got 99.75. And let's go for 1 microfarad. Yeah, we got 1.0002. Nice. It's really quick as well, isn't it? Love that. Now for the M162. Okay, 10 nanofarads. 9.848. Okay, 100 nanofarads. 99.71. 99.71. And let's go for 1 microfarad. It's thinking about it. Yeah, it got there in the end. 1.001. Oh, not bad. Right, East Tester time then. All right, let's go 10 nanofarads. And we've got 9842, 9843. All right, 100 nanofarads. It's not happy. No problems with this one before. 99.79 nanofarads. Okay, and let's go for 1 microfarad. 999 nanofarads is the best it can do. Now, bear in mind, this is 300 pounds East Tester. It's not all that, is it? Whereas the Zoyi is fast and much more portable and much more accurate. Okay, last up in the comparison test is inductance. So starting at 1 millihenry. Let's see what the Zoyi can do. Straight away. It's so quick. I can't get over how quick that is. It's instant. Doesn't even have to think about that. 0.9896 millihenries. Fantastic. Okay, let's go 10. 9.9993. 9992. 9.9992. Couldn't be much closer, could it? And 100 millihenries. Here we go. Yeah, straight away it's in there. Look, perfect. 100.14 millihenries. Awesome. Let's try M162. Okay, M162 on inductance. All right, 1.030 millihenries. 10.02 millihenries. And 100.1 millihenries. All right. Let's just go for it. 997.5. Okay. 10.002. And 100 exactly. Just. That's not bad, is it? Well, as we suspected, the Zoyi does pretty good across all different ranges of measurement. It's fast. The screen is really easy to see. And it's just quite nice to use. Being in a handheld form factor takes up a lot less room on my bench than this thing. Now, one thing I did note with this, we do have an impedance mode, as you can see, function Z there for impedance. All right, well, I've got a little speaker here, so let's check this out. So we've got an impedance of 3.22 ohms. It's supposed to be a 4 ohm speaker, so close. If I put that next to my microphone, you might be able to just about hear that. You can hear the 1 kilohertz test tone. If we change the frequency, oh, yeah, can hear that. That's too high, can't hear that. Yeah, 1 kilohertz, you can hear that. There you go, and it's given me impedance of 3.18 ohms. The other thing that the ZT-DQ02 is great at is it has a battery internal resistance measurement function. So we can test some battery health. We've got a good selection of batteries here that we can take a look at. Now, for the battery testing, we need the other set of probes, which I've got here, which has the aviator plug on. This just plugs in on the top of the unit here, and it's got a little notch in the plug there, so you can locate it the correct way round. That's it, that just clicks in nice and easy. Right, so we need to switch it into a battery testing mode. There we go. The digits go red, so you know you're in battery testing mode. Now, it does handily give you, in the manual, a reference range for internal resistance of various types of batteries. So depending on what you've got, lead acid battery, we've got a Li-ion battery here. It's got NiMH, nickel cadmium, alkaline. We've got some alkalines here we can test, and you can even test a supercapacitor with it. I don't have one of those here, unfortunately. Sort of thing you would put in your car amplifier circuit. All right, so we've got 2 9 volts here. So let's start off with the good one. Got 9.14 volts there, and we've got a resistance of about 2 ohms. So for reference, this is a pretty much dead 9 volt battery. 2.89 volts and internal resistance of 28.72. Probably the first time I've measured the internal resistance of a battery. That's only because it's the first time I've had something capable of doing such a thing. So if I put a AAA into here, right, what have I got with my AAA? I've got a voltage of 1.56 volts and an internal resistance of 136.9 milliohms. So if I look up, it hasn't got 9 volt on here, but it has got AA, AAA, and these are alkalines. So AA, AAA alkalines, it says it should be between 100 and 300 milliohms. The amount of times I find batteries on my bench and I've no idea if they're any good. Let's try this AA. Okay, we've got a voltage of 1.61 volts and internal resistance of 122 and a bit milliohms. If you're testing batteries regularly, certain size batteries, you're going to get to remember what the ideal internal resistance is. You can get an idea of the condition of your battery internally. So if I look at this Li-ion battery, for example, fully charged, it would be 3.7 volts. I've no idea if it is. Well, I've got nothing out of that one at all. All right, so that one's obviously no good. No worries, I've got another one here. This is a 18650 Li-ion 3.6 volt this time. So let's give this one a try, see if there's any life in this one. Okay, so there we go. So we got 3.4 volts and 1.7776 milliohms, which for an 18650, we should be between 20 and 90 milliohms. Okay, so these are lead acid batteries. These have just come out of my UPS, these two. So this is a great way of checking the condition of if you've got a lead acid battery on a car. Maybe you've got a car that you don't use very often. Maybe you've got a quad bike, something like that, lawnmower, anything that's got a lead acid battery on it that maybe you don't use so often. It's got no volts in it because this UPS has been offline for a while, but it does have an internal resistance of 471 ohms. I'm going to hazard a guess that that's not very good. Right, let's try the other one. No, nothing at all. No sign of life in that. Well, these two are no good. Move them out of the way. Now, this is a new one. This is one of the replacement batteries. So, this brand new one should be good. Yes. See, that's gone white there to indicate that's good. 12.82 volts, what you'd expect, and internal resistance of 20.75 milliohms. That's great. That's where it should be. See, lead acid battery, deep cycle, ballpark is 5 to 20 milliohms. So this is pretty much a perfect battery, which it should be because it's brand new. So you can see the difference with this one, can't you? Because your internal resistance, it's like 473 ohms. Well, that's well off of where it should be for a healthy lead acid battery. Both of those have got to go. So you've got that additional function there for testing batteries, which is really, really handy. Now, the other great thing with this meter is, of course, you can test stuff in circuit, even more so by the fact that you've got a 0.1 volt level there. So if you change your voltage level, you can go down to 0.1 volt. So if you're testing stuff in circuit, not going to turn on any semiconductor junctions or anything that you don't want to turn on. Obviously, common sense stuff. If you're testing electrolytics, whether they're in or out of circuit, just make sure they're discharged first. The last thing you want to be doing is putting any voltage into your LCR meter. Now, these boards have been powered down and caps discharged long ago because these are generally boards that I will use for testing purposes and demonstrating things. So let's check this big old cap, shall we? So with stuff like that, you're best going into ECAP mode, which is at the top there, ECAP for electrolytic capacitor. Now let's have a go. This is a 4700 microfarad. Yeah, around 4900-ish. So yeah, it's picking that up quite nicely. Well, we've got a little 1 microfarad here. Let's have a go. Right, how quick is it going to be? It's instant. Literally, as soon as you get that clip on there, it's there. There you go. I reckon that is a pretty darn good LCR meter there. Love the display, nice and big. It's easy to use. There's not too much faffing about with menus and stuff. Everything's easily accessible using these buttons. You can test components with the slots. You can use the Kelvin probes. Plus you got your battery internal resistance tester as well. So you got, this one's got all the bells and whistles because we got the battery internal resistance tester, but you can get this version without that as well. And I think it represents excellent value for money, whichever one you get. Now, I've previously been making do with my old M162 meter that I built from a kit, which was okay. It's a little bit slow and it doesn't always get an accurate result. So we saw from Zoyi last time the LCR tweezers. Now, I thought these were fantastic. They were super accurate and a bargain price. They're always on my bench. This, I think, is great value for money. It's a nice meter to use. It feels nice. It's got a bit of weight to it. And you've got that rubberized grip around the sides. And you've got a stand on the back there. Maybe a little bit more girth on the stand would be nice, but it does the job. The meter's quite heavy enough to stay put where you want it. Comes with all the cables. Yeah, I would give that a big thumbs up. Well, there you go. I reckon that's a lot of LCR meter for your money. This one's the ZT-DQ02, which is the one with the aviation plug on the top, as we saw just now. You can check the internal resistance of your batteries, which is great because you're not just checking the voltage, you're getting a better picture of the overall condition of your battery. Now, you can also get the DQ01 if you don't want the battery resistance function, but I reckon it's really useful to have. If you're going to go for one of these, you may as well go the whole hog. Now, this one with all the probes and everything's on AliExpress for around £83 at the moment, and the DQ01 for about £64. That's not a huge amount of money for a fast, accurate LCR meter. And as we saw in the testing part of the video, this meter actually beat one that was more than 3 times its price. So bang for buck LCR meter, I reckon this is an absolute winner. So if you do feel like you want to pick yourself up one of these Zoyi handheld LCR meters, I'll leave the links in the video description down below so you can go and take a look for yourself. So I hope you've enjoyed today's video taking a look at this Zoyi LCR meter, and big thanks to Zoyi for sending me over this sample for review. As always, massive thanks to everyone for watching and subscribing. I'll be back soon with another tech related video, but in the meantime, take care and I'll see you on the next one.